Hello, this is Mr. Waterman, and you are viewing lesson 9.4. We're learning about rotations today. That's the third of the transformations that we are going to learn in geometry. We've already covered translations, where we're gliding an object, just sliding it across, changing its location, but not its orientation. Yesterday we worked on, or Friday anyway, we worked on the reflections, kind of like creating a mirror image across a line of reflection. So last one we're going to do is called rotations. And rotation is pretty familiar to those of you that have worked with graphic software on a computer. For example, the software I'm using here on my whiteboard has a button on it and it says rotate object. So if I just grab onto this handle, it will rotate the object. Okay? Many of you have probably done this sort of thing. And I can rotate counterclockwise, and I can rotate clockwise from my original position. One thing you'll notice is that this has not changed size, so rotations are an isometry. You end up with a congruent figure. Your image will be congruent to the pre-image. Alright, so we will get a little more into the specifics, but conceptually that's what we're dealing with. So rotation's about an origin. Let's see here. When they specify a rotation in our textbook, we are going to deal only with rotations that where the angle measure is measured in a counterclockwise direction. So, for example, in this diagram in the upper right corner here, where I'm attempting to draw in purple, that line is trying to show a 130-degree rotation. We're taking point A, the pre-image is over here, this blue dot, and A prime is the image after rotating that about the origin 130 degrees. So it's almost, you want it to be equidistant from the origin, so it's almost like it's on this point is attached to a stick that then moves across and is rotated through an angle of 130 degrees. Okay, and likewise for these other rotations they're showing, in green they've shown a rotation of 220 degrees, and they've also shown 310 from the original all the way around to this point A, the black point A triple prime. So in order to make things a little easier, these are pretty tough to draw to begin with. You would need a protractor, a compass, a straight edge in order to do accurate rotations of these drawings. For today we're going to deal with only the simpler versions where we are going to rotate about the origin, and we're going to deal with really consider only three rotations. One is a 90-degree rotation, a 180-degree rotation, and a 270-degree rotation. So I need you to copy into your notes these relationships. These are called the coordinate rules for rotating about the origin. What we're going to do is we're going to take the coordinates of your pre-image and we're going to do a little magic on them. We're going to transform them, and so for a rotation of 90 degrees, for example, you'll see that what we're going to do is we're going to switch the x and y coordinates of each point, and then you're going to change the sign of the x coordinate only. For a rotation of 180 degrees, we're going to leave a and b, or x and y coordinates, in their original positions, but we're going to change the signs of both coordinates. So if both coordinates were positive, your point was in the first quadrant, then they'll both become negative, and your point will rotate around, all the way around into quadrant 3. And then thirdly, for a rotation of 270 degrees, again we're going to switch our x and y coordinates, but this time it's the y coordinate that we change the sign of. So it's a little bit like the 90-degree rotation, where we change the positions of the x and y coordinates, and then we change the sign of one of them. 90 degree, we change the x coordinate. 270, we change the y coordinate. So let's go ahead and put this to use. I've got a little bit of a mess I've got to clean up here, so just a second. Okay, there we go. I've got this fairly well cleaned up now. So what we're going to do is, first of all, they've started out by telling us a few things. So they gave us 4 points. We have 3, 2, point K. And what they'd like to do is rotate that 270 degrees. So first thing we need to do is plot our 4 points and draw the quadrilateral. And then what we're going to do for a 270 degree rotation, we know that we're going to switch the X and Y's, and we're going to change the sign of the Y coordinate. Okay, so let's watch how that works. Point K. So our image, which I'll construct in red, is at 3, 2. Okay, so we'll put a point there. There's point A. So when I rotate this, okay, something bad just happened. One sec. Okay, so we'll go ahead and translate point A now. So for our image, we'll go ahead and use blue. So we're going to take 3, 2, and we're going to change the coordinates to 2, 3. So we're switching A and B, and we're going to change the sign of the X coordinate, of the Y coordinate, excuse me. So this is going to, point A prime is going to be, or K prime, excuse me, is going to be at 2, -3. 1, 2, 3. Yay, another lovely little, stop it. Try again. There we go. So that's going to be our point K prime in our image. And somebody wrote an app here. Who did that? Let's see if we can get that cleaned up. How about a pen, red, and a K? Yay, there we go. And then we're going to do the same for all 4 of the other points. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw the rest of the points. So here we go. There we go. So I've drawn the quadrilateral. Now all that we need to do is go ahead and translate the rest of these points. So and then plot those. So I've got L is 4, 2. So L prime is going to be, I switch the 4 and the 2. And I change the sign of the Y coordinate. M prime is going to be 4, -3, so I'm going to switch those around, -3 and 4, and then I change the sign of the second one. And then N prime, I'm going to switch the order of these 2 from the image, from the pre-image rather, and my image point N prime is going to be -1, -2. I've got to change the sign of that Y coordinate. So let's go ahead and plot the rest of these points and look at our results. Okay, so I've plotted my 4 points, and if I connect these up with beautiful straight lines, if this thing will cooperate, I can do that. I guess it's not looking like it really wants to. That is our polygon, our quadrilateral, with it rotated 90 degrees about the origin. Right. So for question 1, what I'd like you to do is look at these same 4 points, and I would like you to come up with the coordinates for point L. So I'd like you to transform L and tell me what the coordinates of L prime would be. So that's your question 1. Alright, so that's the end of this video, and off you go, happily rotating.